Hello, dear students of batch 18. Welcome back to my online class on industrial psychology. Dear students, I hope that all of you are fine with your family members and you are taking preparation for the upcoming examinations. Uh, Dear students, today I would like to discuss about employee participation, trade union, and collective bargaining. First of all, employee participation. Employee participation means involvement of employees in at decision-making process at all levels in an organization. We know that usually in an organization there are three levels: top level, mid-level, and lower level. Usually the top level management, board of directors, chief executive officers, managing directors, they formulate strategies, they determine organizational vision and mission, and usually they take the most crucial decisions for the organization. But if an organization wants to ensure employee participation, it must ensure participation of employees in decision-making process at the top level, at the mid-level, and at the lower level. According to Storm Davis, employee participation is the mental and emotional involvement of people in group situations that encourages them to contribute group goals and share responsibility for them. Let's move to features of employee participation. Employee participation involves mental as well as emotional involvement of the employees. It builds teamwork among the employees. Moreover, employee participation is a motivational technique by which employees become motivated and their productivity, their performance, their commitment, their organizational behavior will become up to the mark. Furthermore, an employee can identify his own strengths as well as weaknesses, and employee participation is an all-pervasive function. Finally, employees become better through contribution in the decision-making process. Here, employee become better refers to the level of dedication, the level of commitment, the level of productivity or performance of employees become better when they can share their ideas, they can share their opinions, they can share their views to the top management in case of taking decisions for the organization. Now, I would like to talk about prerequisites of employee participation. Prerequisites of employee participation. If an organization wants to ensure effective, fruitful employee participation in their organization, the following preconditions must be ensured. First of all, clearly defined and complementary objectives. In order to ensure effective employee participation, uh, each party involved in decision-making process must have clearly defined and complementary objectives. There should not be any clash between the objectives of the two parties. Secondly, free flow of information and communication. There must have proper communication between the two parties, between the workers and the management. And if there is a free flow of information and proper communication between the two parties, then it builds trust between them. Thirdly, representatives of workers from workers themselves. In order to ensure employee participation, employees or workers must choose representatives among them who will talk on behalf of them to the management, and representatives of workers must be someone of the among the workers who work in the organization, and anyone who is outside of the trade union should not be allowed in employee participation. Employee participation is important for two reasons. Firstly, employee representatives can understand their colleagues' demands, expectations properly, and they can report their demand and problems to the management. Secondly, the management is also keener or interested in talking to someone who works in their organization. Fourth prerequisite of employee participation is outside trade union participation should be avoided. I have mentioned earlier. Anyone who is outside of the trade union should not be allowed to participate in employee participation. I mean, anyone outside of the trade union should not be allowed to talk to the management on the discussion table. Rather, representatives must be from trade union. Next prerequisite of employee participation is workers' education and training. In order to ensure fruitful employee participation, the workers or employees must have minimum level of education and training so that they can understand the usefulness of participative management. Next, no threat by participation. Both parties, I mean representative of the workers and the management, they will sit together, they will talk to each other willingly, spontaneously, without any sort of force, without any sort of compulsion or threat. And the last prerequisite of employee participation is association at all levels of decision making. Uh, if an organization wants to ensure effective employee participation, then it must ensure association of employees, association of workers at all levels of decision-making process in the organization. If an organization can ensure these prerequisites, only then it will be able to ensure proper employee participation in their organization. Let's move to objectives of employee participation. First of all, to make best use of human capital. Human resources, I mean workers, employees, or executives, they are known as human resources, and latest term of human resources is human capital. All the employees of an organization will not be regarded as human capital. Rather, employees who are skilled, who are experienced, who have expert knowledge in a particular field, they will be regarded as human capital. And if an organization ensures employee participation, then employee will feel better. They will think that they are the direct stakeholders of the organization. That's why employee or human resources, human capital, they will try the level best for the achievement of the organizational ultimate goals. Second objectives of employee participation is to meet the psychological needs of employees. Employees just not the tools or mechanisms of implementing decision. Rather, if they can become an integral part of making decision, then their psychological needs, their expectation, their self-esteem needs will be fulfilled. Thirdly, to retain the best talent, if employees can share their views, their ideas, their knowledge, if they can give suggestions, and the top management pay concentration and proper heed to their suggestions, ideas, views, opinions, then employee will feel better. And if the top level management, if the management value their ideas, value their dignity, then talented, experienced, expert employee will stay in their organization. They will not switch to another organization from the existing one. Next objective of employee participation may be to increase industrial productivity. If an organization can give opportunity to participate in decision-making process, I mean, if an organization gives opportunity to its employees or workers to participate in decision-making process, then employees' commitment, their hard work, their motivation will be up to the mark, and they will try the level best. And ultimately, if employees' performance is better, then the organizational or industrial productivity will be up to the mark. Then, to establish harmonious industrial relationship, if there is a clash or conflict between the workers and the management, it's a bad sign for the organization. The organization will face so many obstacles from the employees or workers. But if an organization ensures employee participation, then they can build a cordial relationship with the workers, with the subordinates, with the representatives of workers, with the trade unions, and ultimately they will be able to take decision mutually for the betterment both for the organization and for the employees, which is known as goal congruence or win-win strategy actually. Then, to maintain a proper flow of communication. In case of employee participation, there must be proper communication between the employees and the management. And due to employee participation, there will be a proper flow of information, exchange of information, ideas, views, news between the management and the workers or representative of the workers. Okay, dear students, let's talk about benefits of employee participation. Uh, some people think that uh, employee participation sometimes slows down decision making, and some confidential information may leak from the organization by employees or other parties who will be involved in employee participation. But in spite of having some limitations, undoubtedly and obviously, employee participation has so many benefits, like increase employees' motivation. Employees' participation increases employees' motivation. If employee can participate in decision-making process, then they will work hard to implement the decision because they will think that I am also a part of this decision, and if this decision can be implemented, then the organization as well as the workers will be benefited. Then employees' self-esteem, job satisfaction, and cooperation with the higher authorities will also improve due to employee participation. Employee participation reduces stress and conflict among the employees. Moreover, between the workers and the management, if there remains or exists any conflict, then employee participation can find out a proper solution to this problem. Moreover, employee participation reduces employee turnover and absenteeism. If an organization ensures employee participation at all levels in case of decision-making process, then the employees' job satisfaction, motivation will be up to the mark. As a result, they will not switch to another organization from the existing one, and they will not remain absent due to any illogical reasons. And furthermore, employee participation can boost up the morale of the employees. Some other benefits of employee participation can be the values and dignity of employees are protected through participation. The mental and physical health of employees can be improved by minimizing the effect of alienation at workplace. And employee participation is a democratic process in contradiction to authoritarian organization. Finally, employee participation creates a sense of self-respect in employees. Now, I'd like to tell about methods of participation of employees in decision making. Obviously, we have seen that employee participation has so many benefits, both for the organization and for the workers or employees. And now a question may arise: how can employees participate in decision-making process? What are the mechanisms? What are the techniques? What are the methods or way by which employee can participate in decision-making process of an organization? Yes, I'm talking about the methods like participation at the board level, representation of employees at the board level is known as industrial democracy. And if representatives of employees are at board level, then they can report the employees' demands, their expectations, their needs, their problems in front of the management, and they can guide the board members in order to pay much more attention to the benefits of employees. Second way of employee participation may be participation through ownership. An organization can encourage its employees uh, to buy equity share, by which they can become the owner of the organization. And it is one of the most crucial techniques of ensuring employee participation in an organization. Next way of employee participation is participation through collective bargaining. Collective bargaining is a process by which the representatives of employees and the management, they uh, agree to discuss about issue and mutually they make an agreement for the betterment of the organization as well as for the betterment of the employees. And uh, participation through collective bargaining, by this technique an organization can ensure employee participation because the representatives of employees, they will talk on behalf of the workers or employees to the management. Next method of Participation of employees in decision making may be participation through suggestion schemes. An organization can ensure employee participation by encouraging employees, by encouraging workers to come up with new ideas about how cost can be cut down of an organization, how cost can be managed, and an employee can come with these ideas and the management will encourage them. And it is another approach of ensuring employee participation of an organization. Through participation through complete control is another method of employee participation in decision-making process. In this approach, the representatives of workers of management take the full control of the management and they perform all the tasks of management on behalf of the workers. Participation through job enrichment is also an effective method of employee participation. And job enrichment is adding more detail and adding more motivators and rewards to the existing profile, existing job profile actually, and by which employee can participate in decision-making process. Finally, participation through quality circles. Quality circle is a group of 5 to 10 members of an organization. Usually, employees or workers who are expert in a specific area or specific field, they meet together, they identify, they analyze, and they find out the solution of problems in their area of operation. The students, I think that all of you have understood the way by which an organization can ensure employee participation in their organization, or by which through these mechanisms, employees or workers of an organization can participate in decision-making process of an organization actually. Disadvantages of participative management I have mentioned earlier. In spite of having so many benefits or advantages, participative management has also some negatives or disadvantages, like decision-making slows down. In case of employee participation or participative management, management needs to take a decision after discussing with the workers, trade unions, or representatives of workers. As a result, decision-making process may be delayed, and sometimes the consequences of delayed decision can be worsened. Second disadvantage of participative management or employee participation is security issue. Each and every organization obviously has some confidential information regarding the formula, the production process, the strategy by which they gain competitive advantages over the competitors. But in case of employee participation, the top management, the management or executives of the management need to discuss with the employees or representatives of employees about all issues of an organization. As a result, some confidential information may be disclosed to other parties. Dear students, we have talked about the representatives of employees or workers. Actually, what the representatives? The leaders of trade union actually. Now, what is trade union? Trade union is an association of workers in a particular trade, industry, or company created for the purpose of securing improvements in payment, benefits, working conditions, or social and political status through collective bargaining. You may think, what is collective bargaining? Obviously, collective bargaining is a process by which employers and employees confer in good faith and come to an understanding about the terms and conditions of work and other related aspects. The objective of bargaining is to settle matters on discussion tables with mutual consent and cooperation. Once again, the objective of collective bargaining is to settle matters on discussion tables with mutual consent and cooperation. Both the management and the representative of workers, they will take a decision mutually on discussion table. In other sense, collective bargaining is a process of negotiation between employers and the representative of employees aimed at reaching agreements that regulate working conditions. And in case of collective bargaining, management is usually represented by senior executives of the company and the workers are represented by the trade union leaders and officials. Process of collective bargaining. The process of collective bargaining involves 6 major steps actually. Firstly, preparing for negotiations. Before negotiation, both the parties, I mean the management and the workers or representatives of workers, they need to take proper preparation about, uh, they need to take detailed information about which topic they want to discuss between two parties actually. Second step of collective bargaining is identifying bargaining issues. In this stage, both parties, I mean the workers or representative of workers and the management, they need to identify the topic, the issues, the problems. They will talk on the discussion table. They can discuss with each other in order to find out a proper solution. And in the third stage, negotiation procedure actually begins or starts when the representatives of workers submit their demands to the management, and then the management will talk to the representatives of the workers or the employees, and negotiation process will be started actually. In the fourth stage, reaching the agreement, when the representatives of employees submit the demands of employees to the management, then both parties negotiate about the demands, about the expectations, about the problems, about other work-related issues, and after discussing, they will reach an agreement mutually actually. In the fifth stage, ratifying the agreement. Ratifying means approving the agreement. After reaching an agreement, both parties need to ratify the agreement or approve the agreement actually, and that's why they need to sign that both parties have been agreed with these terms and conditions mutually for the betterment of both parties actually. And finally, administration of the agreement. After approving the agreement, then both parties need to administer the agreement based on terms and conditions which is written on the agreement actually. The students, by following this approach, collective bargaining can be occurred in an organization between representatives of employees and the management of an organization. Let's move to role of trade unions. Trade unions play a vital role on behalf of the workers in an organization. For example, recognized trade unions have the legal right to bargain about employees' payment, employees' working hours, employees' holidays. Trade union rules may be most agreements by employers to recognize trade unions for collective bargaining are entirely voluntary. Employees and other workers have the right to become accompanied at a disciplinary or grievance hearing. Informing and consulting, transfers of business ownership, and occupational and personal pension schemes are some roles that trade union performs on behalf of the employees or workers in an organization. Importance of trade unions to employees. Trade union increases the strength of the workforce, thereby increasing their bargaining capacity as a group. Trade union restricts management's freedom for arbitrary action, I mean for illogical action against the employees. Moreover, unilateral actions by the employer are also discouraged by the trade union. Effective collective bargaining machinery strengthens the trade union's movement. The workers feel motivated as they can approach the management on various matters and bargain for higher benefits. And all this possible due to trade unions. Because trade unions, I mean the leaders of trade unions, they work on behalf of the employees, they talk on behalf of the employees with the management, and they work for the benefit of the employees. Other importance of trade unions to employers, actually, their importance of trade unions to employers. It becomes easier for the management to resolve issues at the bargaining level rather than taking up complaints of individual workers. Collective bargaining tends to promote a sense of job security among the employees and thereby tends to reduce the cost of labor turnover to the management. Moreover, collective bargaining plays a vital role in settling and preventing industrial disputes. I mean, trade union is not only favorable for the workers or employees, rather than trade union also gives some advantages to the management, to the organization. Advantages of collective bargaining. Collective bargaining avoids unnecessary legal proceedings and the issue is sorted out of the court. Secondly, collective bargaining promotes workers' democracy and workers' participation in management. Thirdly, collective bargaining eliminates unnecessary expenditure and avoids bitterness among involved parties. Actually, involved parties referred to the representative of workers and the management or senior executives of the company. Disadvantages of collective bargaining. Collective bargaining also has some negative aspect. Increased wages and improved facilities for workers will indirectly result in high prices for goods and services. Because due to collective bargaining, the representatives of trade unions, they will discuss to the management to increase the wages, the salary of employees. They will talk to the management to improve the facilities. And if an organization increases employees' wages and salary and improves facilities for them, ultimately it will indirectly result in high prices for goods and services. As a result, consumers are affected badly due to price hike, a process which they do not actively participate in actually. And in case of failure of that collective bargaining agreement, the immediate consequences, strike or lockdown. As a result, the organization will suffer in the long run. They will not be able to deliver the order timely. As a result, the reputation or image may be in danger. Dear students, uh, I think that all of you have got a clear idea about employee participation, about trade unions, and about collective bargaining. And in near future, if you play crucial role in the management of a company or management of an organization, if you stay at the top level in the hierarchy, then you will try your level best to ensure employee participation for the betterment of your organization. But you must think to which extent you will give access to your employees to give their opinion. You should not do any sort of thing or task or activity by which you may lose control over your employees. Rather, you need to make a balance between the employee and the management. It should not be too much rigid and it should not be too much flexible towards your employees. But one thing is that obviously, employee participation will bring positive result for an organization because if employee can participate in decision-making process at all levels across the organization, they will work spontaneously, their level of job satisfaction, their level of commitment, their loyalty will be increased. Dear students, that's from me for today. And I think all of you will review the lecture, and if you find any sort of problems regarding any topic without any sort of hesitation, please note me. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay home, follow the instructions of World Health Organization. Allah Hafiz.